Red Sox sweep the Washington Nationals over the weekend. Now 46-45. Trading deadline is 3.5 weeks away, July 31st or August 1st, really. And so you guys tell me, based on they've won 6 of 8, in a better spot than they were a week ago. Seems to change every week with this team. But you guys tell me, I want your initial sentiments on the Red Sox, where they are with the deadline coming up, how you feel about them, what would you do?
Well, I'll start here by saying at least they're entertaining, right? At least we're getting a summer where we can watch baseball, we get some good games, and then we see some bad play. So I'll at least start there. But after a sweep where you started 6.5 games back, you're still 6 games back. You're still hovering around 500. You got a couple of all-stars in the mix here, but are they entertaining? Yes. Are there question marks? Do we have storylines now regarding the trade deadline? Yes, all that is there. But do you believe that this team can go on a run or do any damage? Absolutely not.
Okay, so Joe, take one step at a time. Do you believe that they can make the playoffs?
You know what? I do, because I think that the American League is soft, and I think Toronto went on a little run here. So do I think so? Yes. Am I banking on it? Absolutely not. But maybe there's some guys in there who believe that if they did spend some money at the deadline or found a bat, another pitcher, maybe things do look a little differently. Maybe if their defense does shore up a little bit. These are all maybes here. So maybe they can go on a playoff run, but I think they are what they are. And that can't be forgotten. They are what they are, a mediocre, right around 500 baseball team that is exciting. But to be honest, they probably have to move on from parts to get better. And I think that's where they're at. But they could go on a run to the playoffs, absolutely.
Okay, so look, all I'm telling you is that in 3.5 weeks, the roster could be a little different. You could be a different team. So, and you cited the margin in the division. In the wild card, they are 2.5 out. Okay, 2.5 out. And right now, they're the 4th wild card team, meaning they only have to catch one team. The only team they have to catch is Seattle. Okay, they're 2.5 out of the wild card. Matt McCarthy.
Yeah, I think they can make the playoffs just because, again, this is the way baseball is in 2025. It's very easy to make the playoffs theoretically. I just don't know if the Red Sox are going to be capable of separating from the rest of the mediocrity in the American League based on the way they play. This is a good weekend for them results-wise, but I think if you look under the hood, and this is not, a Tyler Milliken under-the-hood analytical stat or anything like that, they still made the same dumbass mistakes they've made all season long this weekend, and the Nationals just weren't good enough to take advantage. The Red Sox made mistakes in the field. Rafaela ran into outs, forgot the outs twice in 2 innings. He dropped the outs. So this team is still doing the same stuff. I think this weekend more has to do with Washington than it does the Red Sox. They fired their manager and their general manager after the Red Sox swept them yesterday, which tells you what they think about obviously where they are at and where probably the Red Sox are at too. So I just, listen, can they do it, Mazz? Yes. But they've got to clean this thing up. And they haven't shown me any examples of them actually being able to consistently clean this up. They are still a really bad fundamental baseball team, and that's the thing that's going to cost them. It's not necessarily talent, because nobody's really that talented in the American League, but are they going to get to a point in August and September, are they going to play clean baseball? And I haven't seen anything that would make me believe that they're going to play clean baseball. So no, this weekend does not change my opinion on that.
Okay, so again, but let me ask you both the fundamental question. Do you think they can make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
If I'm a betting man, no, I don't think they make the playoffs. But can they? Yes.
Okay, so I think they can make the playoffs. And part of it, Joe, is because of what you said. The league blows.
Awful.
The league is horrible. So I sort of default to the Mike Vrabel line that he has been uttering down in Foxborough since the day he got there. Can you take advantage of bad football? That's what Vrabel has been saying. Can the Red Sox take advantage of bad baseball? My answer is yes. Based on the weekend, thank you, Jimmy. Based on the weekend, you can absolutely take advantage of bad baseball. And I'll tell you what, over the weekend, as I was watching and they were smashing the ball all over the ballpark for the first 2 games and the start of the third one, I found myself thinking, they can hit bad pitching. Earlier in the year, I asked Jim Murray, what does this team do? I actually asked the fans, what does this team do well? What do they do well? And the answer to me was nothing. Jim Murray said, well, they hit bad pitching well, and he kind of chuckled. But you know what? He's right. It's exactly what they do. They hit bad pitching very, very well. So our intern, Thomas, back there, I gave him a little research project this morning, and I'm trying to find the actual data from the specific email I sent him, or that he sent me. And I asked him to break up the Red Sox batting average and slugging percentage and OPS based on the quality of the pitching they were facing. So we picked the top 15 teams in the league based on ERA in the majors and the worst 15 teams in the league. So we just drew a line right down the middle. You're going to have to give me a second here while I'm screwing around on my phone because I'm trying to find the exact email that, here it is here. So he broke it up, again, against the top 15 and the bottom 15. Did you know that the Red Sox, against the worst teams, worst pitching staffs in the league, in the game, 277 batting average, 805 OPS against the bottom 15.
Pretty good for a team. Really good.
Against the top 15, 229, 695 OPS.
Wow.
Okay, massive difference. Like 50 points in batting average, and an OPS, it's 110 points. It's a whopping number. They can beat bad teams. They can beat bad pitching. It's totally within their capability to do that. And, you know, some of these teams that have, and the reason to me the pitching part of it is important, because I think ultimately the offense is deciding whether or not they're able to win games. For example, the New York Mets have good pitching. They went 2-1 against the Mets in all low-scoring games. So that was during that stretch of 6 games in a row where the Red Sox had scored or pitched well, rather. And, you know, they were allowing fewer than 3 runs in all those games. It was like 7 or 8 in a row, I think, at one point. So they were pitching better at that time. But that Mets series was an outlier. We all knew it at the time. Their pitching is not consistently good enough for them to beat good teams because they're not going to get them out. But it is good enough to make Lucas Giolito look like a freaking Cy Young Award winner against the Washington Nationals. So my answer is this. Can they make the playoffs? Yes. And as a result, I'm buying at the deadline. And when I say I'm buying, it does come with an asterisk, Matt. I am not trading away prospects for a rental. Not doing it. But if you can trade away a fake prospect, I call them fake prospects, guys who look better on paper than they really are. Nick York, who went to the Pirates last year, was a fake prospect. If you can trade away players that other teams deem to be maybe fringe big leaguers, and they can play in smaller markets. Maybe Quinn Priester is one of those guys. You put him in Milwaukee, it works. He pitches against the National League Central. You put him in the American League East against the Yankees, he's going to get his ass kicked.
No, you just get him away from here because they can't develop any pitchers whatsoever.
All right, so there is that too, Matt. Absolutely. I mean, there's an element of that too. But my point is, acquire players with term that you can keep around and that can help you next year. What is wrong with that approach?
I've heard that for years and they haven't done it, though, because the cost to acquire players with term is astronomical at the deadline. It usually is. So you want to go out and get somebody who's under contract for the next 3 years and is going to be a part of something now and in the future. I'm on board with that, Mazz. I just look at this team and I say they are so fundamentally terrible. That will be the thing that will hold them back. And in some ways, I look at a few specific players on this team, and Jarren Duran will kind of be the whipping boy in this. Like, are you really going to win anything with Jarren Duran? Butchering balls in left field consistently. Are you really going to win with that? Ceddanne Rafaela, who's on fire right now and is turning into a good player before our eyes, but he can't count to 3 because he keeps dropping the outs. He keeps getting picked off. Like, if this thing is going to keep happening, I don't care if you get better on paper. You're not going to win because they don't know how to win. That's still the biggest problem with this team. You want to buy? You want to sell? I can hear the argument for it. The American League sucks. I don't want to hear about the future. Eventually, you need to win. But this team isn't ready to win because the culture isn't there. How do you fix that?
Do you think the fundamentals can get better?
No.
Joe
Not with some
Murray,
of these guys.
They are getting better. I can give you the numbers.
Okay, go.
I looked them. I'll get them to you shortly on the other
Okay.
side. But since the answer is Christian Campbell's out of the lineup. So since he's been out, their numbers have gone up defensively. They are making simple, terrible, same mistakes over and over, but their defensive numbers are better. It's because they've removed
Christian
Campbell. But my whole thing on this, though, is the advantage that they have, to your point, Maz, is that you can take on salaries. You don't have to give up prospects if you take on money, right? Didn't we just witness this with the Denver stuff? Well, they just – here's the deal. Everyone applauded the Red Sox for spending money this offseason, right? And they did a pretty good job. Well, they got rid of a guy, and really, did they spend it all? Right now that you've recouped all that money, did they really spend? So maybe at the deadline they acquire some salary. Don't give up the big-time prospects. Go like a Santana. If he's available, I think he might be someone to look at first base. All right? He's another hitter in the lineup, but you can take on the salary and not give up the prospect. So I think the Red Sox are in a great situation here. They can move on from a Chapman or a Giolito or a Trevor Story, and they can also acquire better talent, Matt, to your point. But it's because of the money, not because of the prospects. I don't want to hear anything about, are they going to spend the money? They have to. They cleared it this week. Didn't Sam Kennedy say that? They've gotten the okay? They have to take on salary. We can't applaud them for something they did in the offseason, then make this huge trade for the best player and not try to get better this year and spend money. So I think that's one of the advantages they have is they can take it on.
I'll believe it when I see it, Joe.
So, look, I think we all feel that way on some level, Matt, but in the same respect, I'll tell you they have a lot invested in this season. They have a lot invested in it. And they keep saying over and over again, we think we can get in. They've said it so many times that I'm starting to wonder, why would they continue to say this, especially if they're going to do a 180? Maybe they believe it. And I'll tell you what, I hope that they're willing to do exactly what Joe is saying. I know this much. They can get in. They can get in because the league sucks. And to Joe's point, I think you can get better at fundamentals during the year, and I'll tell you why. Garrett Crochet, who kind of sucked yesterday, honestly. They still won the game in spite of him. So all that bitching people were doing about Garrett Crochet not getting run support, and kind of bailed him out a little bit yesterday. I didn't think he was very good, but that's all right. It happens. A long season. I'm just telling you, don't overplay the run support. You pay that guy $30 million a year to win 3-2, not lose 2-1. Okay? So this is the whole point of having an ace. He's supposed to win the tough, low-scoring games. That's a total aside. I said before we went to break that I do think your fundamentals can get better during the season. Okay, here's why I believe that. Their key players are all developing still. And this goes back to, did you guys see the tweet last week by Zach Scott?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk about it?
The exit plan, right?
The unbelievable, the tweet that Zach Scott had. He is a former Red Sox executive or analyst who then became temporarily the GM of the Mets, now works with an analytics company, I believe. I think it's his own company, Zach Scott Sports or something like that. I mean, that's his Twitter handle, I think. In any case, he tweeted last week, a Red Sox player development member once told me that he knew it was time for an exit strategy when a newly hired, parentheses, by Chaim Bloom, minor league field coordinator, when a newly hired minor league field coordinator declared in their first meeting that, quote, we no longer coach fundamentals.
It's awful.
We no longer coach fundamentals. So if you want to, this is the proof. You want to know why the Red Sox can't freaking field ground balls in the outfield, let alone the infield, or turn double plays, or run the bases, or put a bunt down, or move a runner. You want to know why they can't do it? Because they don't effing teach it anymore. This is comical to me. It's like putting kids in preschool and kindergarten and not teaching them the alphabet. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
But so believable.
Unbelievable. It is and it isn't, Matt. I understand what you're saying, but the idea that now that the fundamentals don't matter is preposterous. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, but it's believable because I've watched the Red Sox for the last 5 years, and it's like, oh, no wonder. No, we've asked the question, do you teach the fundamentals? And the answer is a resounding no.
I mean, really?
We don't do that here.
So here's my point. Marcelo Meyer is going to get better. That would have been true even if he knew the fundamentals, and he's actually better than most. He's going to get better, and we're going to see it probably before the end of the year. And when I say better, I don't mean he's reaching his ceiling. I mean that you'll see improvement. Roman Anthony is already showing signs of improvement. McCarthy said Rafaela. I am stunned at the player that Rafaela is right now.
At the plate, for sure.
Do you know that he's basically the second best center fielder in the league?
Yeah, right now.
Offensively and defensively? Both. I didn't see that coming. Now, I don't know if it's going to stay that way, and I'm not a big Rafaela fan, but he's getting better.
May I throw in Narvaez for that matter? Just because who the hell saw that coming? I don't think anybody saw him. I think they thought he was a backup, and the Yankees let him go. So he's been outstanding.
Yeah, so I just think by the end of the year, Joe, there is the chance that Rafael is actually going to hit cutoff men. And Roman Anthony is already starting to hit cutoff men.
Well, I think they're at least working on it. They're showing it before the games, right? Like, there's been a lot of back and forth of shots from Cora to the management team. Like, I think it's pretty clear these kids aren't ready. Like, what I mean by not ready, fundamentally ready. Do they have the skills and the ability? Absolutely. And we're starting to see Roman Anthony hit a little bit. The numbers will be there. Just to get back to your bad hitting team thing.
Yeah.
I get some Trevor Story numbers on that. He's the king of the bad hitting, right? For bad pitching. All right, so pre-June, right? He was hitting 168 versus fastballs. Just since the start of June. He's batting 319 altogether since June. But on those fastballs, 23 of 61. That's almost a 380 batting average. Good pitching, bad pitching. He's the king of it. So I think we are starting, hey, look at Trevor Story. Look at the numbers. He's had a really good last month and a half. Really, he has. But this is what he is, and I think this is the ceiling on him.
So can I give you a tip on Story? Don't break it up by fastballs and breaking balls. Break it up by velocity. Mm-hmm. So in other words, look at 95 and above and 93 below. Okay, and I'm leaving 94 out, but you get the idea. The ball he hit yesterday was an 82 mile an hour. It was a cantaloupe in the middle of the plate at 82 miles an hour.
Under 85, no doubt about it.
It was freaking, it was like a big old peach right in the middle of the plate. Holy crap, did he hit the crap out of it.